Welcome to the Ohio AgNet's coverage of the Ohio FFA Celebration of Students, sponsored by Wilmington College. Hands-on learning, hands-on living. Now to our student reporters with today's report.
Welcome back to Day 3 coverage of the Ohio FFA Celebration, brought to you by Wilmington College. Hands-on learning, hands-on living. I'm Jacob Zakowski from the Anthony Wayne Penta FFA chapter.
And I'm Hallie Miller from the Norwayne FFA chapter.
Today, Chapter Trust Fund recognitions were given out to 35 FFA chapters. Thank you to these chapters for their long-term support of FFA members and the Ohio FFA Foundation. Gold-rated secretaries, treasurers, and reporters from across the state were also recognized for their hard work and dedication in setting their chapters, schools, and communities up for success. These students have been diligent in their school year, writing minutes for meetings, keeping track of finances, and capturing memories. At 11 a.m. this morning, we heard from National Eastern Region Vice President Tess Seibel's keynote address. She spoke about being thankful and grateful for the many people who have had positive impacts in our lives. We caught up with Tess to talk to her about her workshop and her keynote address.
Today we are joined with National FFA Eastern Region Vice President Tess Seibel from the state of Virginia. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, Tess.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
We're really excited. So to start us off, your workshop called A Hero's Journey was on Monday, and it was held for 50 FFA members across the state of Ohio. Can you please provide us with a brief recap of some of the amazing advice and motivation you shared during this workshop?
Yeah, so when I was actually thinking about what I wanted to share with FFA members for my virtual workshop, I started thinking about this idea of our calling, and I feel like for a lot of us, our calling seems like this big, elaborate thing, one thing in our lives we have to strive for. But I've realized that a calling sometimes is just, keeping or continuing to walk. Sometimes it's helping other people. It's a lot of small things and a series of things that help us have an impact in the world. And so during our workshop, we cover 3 ways that a hero is called. A hero is called to travel light, so to let go of those things that are holding them back so that they can go the distance. A hero is called to keep walking, so no matter what happens in life, we're called to keep on going. And then a hero is called to help other people. And ultimately, FFA members realize that they can answer their own hero's call with their life.
That is some great wisdom. Thank you for sharing it with us. Your keynote address was earlier today, live on Instagram and Facebook. And it was about truly being thankful and grateful for the gifts and people that we have in our lives. Could you tell us about one person or a group of people that helped you become the person you am and get to the places you are today?
Yeah, definitely. I kind of mentioned it in my keynote, but one person that really helped me get to where I am was a state officer in Virginia when I was in 9th grade. So a little backstory about that. That's the person that ended up running me the Happygram, if you saw my keynote. But if not, I struggled a lot with self-confidence in middle school and high school. And I knew that I wanted to be involved in FFA, but really didn't know where it would take me or how much I was going to be involved. And I went to FFA camp, which I know at Ohio, you guys have an awesome camp. And we do a tradition where we write Happygrams. And I got a note in my bag from a state officer, and it said, "I believe in you." And that individual, that was the first time in my life I had ever heard those words from someone that wasn't related to me. And that truly kickstarted my belief in myself because I said, you know what, if someone I look up to believes in me, then maybe I should start believing in myself. And as simple as that was, it was like a switch flipped. And from that point on, I decided that I was going to believe in myself enough to try a lot of contests. And that didn't mean that I always won, because I definitely didn't. But it meant that I believed in myself enough to try things that I wasn't comfortable with. And ultimately, that got me to where I am today and constantly pushing myself to be outside of my comfort zone. And so, yeah, a lot of it goes to that individual.
That's so cool that they can share inspiration. If you had the opportunity to sit down with like an incoming 9th grader that is just starting their FFA journey, what advice would you give them? You've come so far.
Yeah. When we're just starting out FFA, I think that it can seem so overwhelming, right? There's so much to do, and there's all these acronyms and official dress, and it's all so new. It's like a whole different world. And so my advice for anyone that's just starting out in FFA, or even if you're a junior or senior in high school, is to say yes to as many opportunities as you can. You know, sometimes that means saying yes to a contest that you have no idea what it's about. And I know I did that and found out I wasn't interested in some of those things, but that's okay. It also means saying yes to conferences or events that could ultimately change your life. It could be a new passion or something that you really care about. And ultimately, you know, when we get to the end of our time in the Blue Jacket, because we all know it does have an end date, and we don't like to think about that, but we don't want to get to that end date where we hang up that jacket for the last time and say, you know what, I wish I had done this. So just say yes. And even if you don't love something, you're going to grow through that new experience.
Tess, I totally agree. Taking as many opportunities as possible really helps us develop that true potential we all have. You and the National Officer Team have obviously been busy connecting with chapters and members across the nation. What have you been doing for fun during this quarantine?
Yeah. So, you know, I like to joke I feel like more busy now than we were when we were on the road, just because there's a lot of Zoom calls and other engagement things, which is really fun. But I think that I've had to learn how to set some boundaries, you know, and as a leader, we have to know how to set those boundaries and say that tonight I'm going to hang out with my family or, you know, do whatever to take care of myself. And so for me, I've been playing basketball a lot with my little brother. I played church league basketball, and they don't teach you how to shoot a basketball very well. And so I learned how to actually shoot a basketball. So I'm pretty good, if I do say so myself. And so I've also been, you know, hanging out with my family and watching Netflix and just taking that time to really connect with those people around me. My sister's in college and my brother's a senior in high school. And so knowing that when this is all over, we're all going to be going off in a lot of different directions. And it's a really special time we have now to just hang out with each other.
When that unfortunate day comes that you do have to hang up your Blue Jacket, what are your plans after FFA and in the future?
Yeah. So thankfully for me, I do know when that date it's going to be, and it's going to be in November. And so I've been thinking a lot about what do the next steps look like. Right now, I'm a student at James Madison University. It's a school in Virginia, and I'm studying nursing. And my goal is to be a nurse practitioner in agricultural communities. And so it's a non-traditional ag career, but there are places in Virginia that don't have easy access to healthcare or doctors. So if there's a farm accident, it might take someone an hour to get there to help out. And we all know that, you know, that's not always the best case that we could have. And so I see myself serving rural communities as a nurse in kind of a unique way, but continuing to give back to ag. And then also, you know, I love leadership, and I love helping people see the potential within themselves and doing that through different ways. And so I would love to do something with leadership. I don't know what that means, but continue to be involved in FFA as an active alumni member.
Tess, that's great to hear. We look forward to seeing what your future holds. Again, we were joined by National Eastern Region Vice President Tess Seibel. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We also celebrated gold medal chapter awards and winning chapter awards in the areas of growing leaders, building communities, and strengthening agriculture. The winning chapter in the area of growing leaders was the Ridgemont FFA chapter. The winning chapter in the area of building communities was the Felicity Franklin FFA chapter. And the winning chapter in the area of strengthening agriculture was the St. Mary's FFA chapter. We are now joined by Mallory Malby and Kira Davidson from the Felicity Franklin FFA chapter. Mallory is serving as the president and Kira is serving as the vice president. Thank you, ladies, for joining us today.
Thank you.
So you guys are the winning chapter of the Building Communities chapter event. Would you guys mind, or Mallory, would you tell us a little bit about what it takes to become the state chapter winner in the area of building communities and some of the projects that you guys have done?
Yeah, it has taken a whole community to help us win this, and our whole chapter participating in creating these different events. And importantly is our committee groups that help execute these events the most. And a few of our events were the Cardinals Care Day, our Building Bees, and our shoe and coat drive.
Awesome. Congratulations on winning your award. Kira, can you please share with us a little bit of the impact your FFA chapter has had on your community and your members?
So through the Building for Bees activity where we were able to collaborate with the Brown County Beekeepers Association. We had over 140 students involved in that, getting to learn about beekeeping and pollination. And through our Cardinals Care event, we were able to impact 21 different organizations in our community with community service activities through that day of giving. And finally, through our coat and shoe drive, we were able to receive 85 coat and shoe donations. And we met 100% of the need for students who needed coats. And then the rest of those coats were donated to another school that really needed coats for their students as well.
Well, that is such a great impact you guys are making. For either of you, what is some advice you could give some FFA members or anyone seeking to make a difference through service?
A lot of advice is to creating new events, because I feel like you can always just redoing them. And this was our second annual Cardinals Care Day, and it has gained a lot of popularity because it's all the way through our school. So it's impacted a lot of people to help the community and impact themselves to make them a better person.
Thank you both.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Sarah, what advice would you have?
I would just say that one of the biggest things that our chapter does to try to get these students to really care about community service is just empowering them to be active in their chapter and in their community. We try to make the events as fun as possible so that the students are really inspired to take part in that. And so we get a lot of kids who are wanting to be part of the committee and wanting to participate. And that's how we're able to get participation so high and have such a great impact on our community.
Well, that is great to hear. We always hear amazing things from the Felicity Franklin FFA chapter. Again, we were joined by Mallory Talaby, president of the Felicity Franklin FFA chapter, and Kira Davidson, vice president of the Felicity Franklin FFA chapter. Ladies, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Mallory and Kyra from the Felicity Franklin FFA chapter for taking the time to talk with us today. Tomorrow's Ohio FFA celebration includes a keynote address by National FFA President Colson McCoy at 11 a.m. The Ohio FFA Officer Team Ballot will be announced at noon, and Agri-Science Fair results will be announced at 4 p.m. Thanks again for joining us on the Ohio AgNet for coverage of the Ohio FFA celebration. Coverage is brought to you by Wilmington College.
We are Wilmington College, where agriculture experience and learning meet.
The leadership and personal development skills I learned in FFA have allowed me to excel in the classroom and in our campus community.
Out of four-year institutions, Wilmington College provides our students with the most hands-on experience starting year one at the academic farm.
At Wilmington College, our farm is our lab. Because of Wilmington College, I have grown as a person, professional, and leader.
I've been able to further my education as a first-generation college student.
We are Wilmington College. Hands-on learning, hands-on living.